Here with your NBA playoff series predictions, part number 1. Hey, listen, smash that like button if your team is going to take home the NBA championship this year. Write down in the comments below while you watch our video who you think is going to win each series. But without further ado, let's dive in to the Milwaukee Bucks taking on the Miami Heat. An interesting matchup here. Listen, the Bucks made some nice additions this year by adding Drew Holiday and PJ Tucker to help them defensively and give better balance to their offense, but they were not able to get the number 1 seed in the East this year as they have done the past 2 seasons. This might be exactly what they needed to alleviate some of the pressure and expectations that was put on them when they were the heavy favorite to win the East. The Heat, though, are the perfect team to take down Giannis. As we saw last year in the semifinals, they have the inside guys to defend Giannis and the three-point shooting that will keep them in the game since the Bucks like to score. Miami was ranked 8th in this year in defense, although the Bucks are not far behind at 10th. So most of these games should be close. The key in this series is the pace of play. The Bucks rank 2nd in pace and 3rd in points, while the Heat ranked 29th in pace and 25th in points. The Bucks won 2 of their 3 regular season matchups, and they were both decisive wins. If the Bucks get up early and get in a groove, it'll be a long day, but a short series for Miami. In short, the Bucks get revenge here after being knocked out in 5 games last year by the Heat. We like the Bucks in 6 games this time around. Staying on the east side of the bracket, we're going to look at the Brooklyn Nets, the 2 seed, taking on the Boston Celtics, the 7 seed, who had a decisive win in the play-in tournament and will now take on Brooklyn. Listen, Brooklyn, after signing Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant, they completed their big 3, adding Harden and to an already talented roster this year, and their additions transitioned very well. As the Nets placed 1st in offensive rating this year, they did rank 22nd defensively, but they can get a stop if they need to. Don't just sell them short on their defense. They can get that stop if it's needed. If you can't keep up with the Nets scoring, you're going to be in trouble. And the Celtics ranked 16th in points scored this season with 112 per game. And without Jaylen Brown, it will be tough to keep up in the series. The Celtics proved a lot of people wrong in their play in game as they beat the Wizards by 18 without Brown, but the Nets are ranked 2nd and were not in the play-in tournament for a reason. The Nets swept the Celtics in the regular season matchups, winning by 28, 12, and 5 in those games. The Celtics might steal a game in this one, but most likely the Nets will win in 4. The Celtics just don't have enough help behind Tatum to keep up with a high-scoring Nets team or the personnel to guard their big 3. Look for the Nets to give a clean sweep to the Celtics. Moving over to the western side of the NBA playoffs, we look at an intriguing matchup between the Los Angeles Clippers and the feisty Dallas Mavericks at the 5. The Clippers have sort of been forgotten in the talks about finals contenders this season, despite having one of the most well-rounded teams in the league. Listen, they ranked 3rd in offense and 7th in defense and have a very good bench. Despite up and down season, which was for the most part due to on and off injuries of George and Leonard, don't be surprised if the Clippers make it to the Western Conference Finals and are close to holding up the Larry O'Brien Trophy after a devastating 3-1 blown series lead last season. The Mavs are really centered around Doncic and Porzingis. They get help from Tim Hardaway and Josh Richardson, but it really isn't enough to carry them through a series against a good defensive team. The key to Dallas' success in this series is the health of Porzingis. If he stays healthy, the Mavs should be able to extend this to a 6th or a 7th game. In their head-to-head matchups this season, the Mavs took 2 out of 3, which included a 51-point victory way back in December. The series should be nothing like that. All these games will be close and hard-fought on both sides of the ball, kind of what you would expect in a 4-5 matchup. But in the end, the Clippers have the deeper bench, and because of that reason, we like them to take this in 6 games. To round out part one of our NBA series predictions, we are going to look at the number 3 Denver Nuggets out west taking on number 6 Portland Trailblazers. Now, the Nuggets have had another great season following their trip to the Western Conference Finals last season, which has largely been due to the MVP performance by Jokic and the acquisition of Aaron Gordon before the trade deadline. It was a huge move to grab him off of Orlando. The Nuggets distribute the ball very well as they are 6th in the league in assists, but they do not defend well against this 3. This can pose a problem for them as the Trailblazers are 2nd in the league for threes made and attempted, thanks to the great play of Lillard, McCollum, and Norman Powell. The Blazers are also a threat down low with their big man Nurkic and have great help off the bench from Carmelo and Cantor. If you do not apply constant pressure on defense to this team, they will make you pay. During the season, Denver beat the Trailblazers twice, but they were very close games that came down to the final minute of the game. Portland, however, beat the Nuggets in the season finale by 16, proving they can take down the Joker and the Nuggets. Right now, we're calling an upset alert here. The Nuggets have struggled to fill the hole in their lineup created by the injury to Murray, and Portland has guard play that can expose this on a daily basis. This will be a high-scoring series, and we like the Blazers to upset the Nuggets and advance to the semifinals. So there it is, part 1 NBA series predictions. You got the Bucks beating out the Heat, a little revenge series. In 5 games, we think it's going to be a very short series. In an even shorter series, the Brooklyn Nets are going to take care of the Boston Celtics. I think a sweep happens there. Out west, the Clippers are going to win a hard-fought series against the Mavs in 6. And our upset alert of part 1 is the Portland Trailblazers, with their exceptional guard play, are going to take down the Denver Nuggets. Stay tuned for part 2, where we recap and tell you all of our predictions for the rest of the NBA playoffs in 2021. As always, sit back, relax, enjoy the basketball, and we'll see you on the other side.